Everyone enjoys intimacy, but here's the real question. What kinds of intimate activities are Americans actually engaging in? Hi, I'm Dr. Lily Morgan, a board-certified urologist with 6 years of experience helping men protect their health, improve confidence, and maintain fulfilling intimate lives. And today, I'm breaking down the top 10 intimate activities Americans are into, based on one of the largest nationally representative studies ever conducted on this subject. Before we get started, where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments. I genuinely love seeing this community come together from all over the world. And while you're there, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we've got plenty more honest, supportive men's health content coming your way. And trust me, 9 and 10 on this list are going to genuinely surprise you. Here's something I want you to remember right from the start. There's no single correct way to express your sexuality or experience intimacy. Too often, men come into my office worried, is it normal that I'm interested in this? Is it unusual that my partner asked for that? Am I the only one who thinks about this? And the truth is, human sexuality is as diverse as fingerprints. What feels intimate, exciting, or pleasurable to you may be completely different from your neighbor, your coworker, or your brother-in-law. And that's perfectly okay. This study reveals one major takeaway. You are not as unusual as you might think. Millions of people are exploring, experiencing, and enjoying a wide range of activities, most of them perfectly healthy, normal, and common. So, where does this data originate? Researchers surveyed over 2,000 American adults, 975 men, and just over 1,000 women across every age group, ethnicity, and background. The survey was completely confidential, giving participants the freedom to answer honestly about what they've actually experienced, what they enjoy, and what interests them. While the majority of participants, 91%, identified as heterosexual, this still provides us with a fascinating snapshot of what Americans are genuinely engaging in. So let's dive into it, the top 10 intimate activities in America today. 1. Traditional intercourse. Not surprising, right? This is by far the most common activity, with 88% of men and 91% of women reporting regular traditional intimacy when they have a partner. Biologically, this makes complete sense. It's the most natural form of physical connection and reproduction. Emotionally, it represents connection, closeness, vulnerability, and trust between partners. Practically, it's what most couples naturally gravitate toward, but just because it's expected doesn't mean it has to become routine. Position variety, open communication, and prioritizing mutual pleasure can keep this foundational activity fresh and deeply fulfilling. 2. Self-pleasure. Now here's one that always makes people uncomfortable to discuss openly. But let's be honest, over 80% of men and women engage in this. In fact, in the last month alone, 64% of men and 41% of women reported self-pleasure activities. Biologically, this practice helps regulate hormones, supports prostate health, and maintains healthy erectile function. Emotionally, it reduces stress and helps you stay connected with your own body's responses and preferences. Practically, it's private, accessible, and requires no partner. As long as it's not interfering with your relationships or daily responsibilities, it's completely normal and in many ways genuinely beneficial for overall health. 3. Oral intimacy. Both giving and receiving are extremely common, with more than 80% of Americans engaging in oral intimacy at some point. Here's the important note. Infections can still be transmitted through oral contact herpes, HPV, and others. So from a urologist's perspective, protection still matters. Barriers aren't glamorous, but they're effective at reducing risk. The bigger picture? Oral intimacy is often seen as a sign of generosity and deeper connection, partners learning to please one another beyond basic activities. 4. Viewing adult content. Controversial? Absolutely. Common? Even more so. 82% of men and 60% of women report viewing adult content. Biologically, occasional viewing can enhance arousal for some people, but excessive use rewires the brain's reward system, potentially leading to decreased sensitivity and even erectile difficulties. Emotionally, it can create unrealistic expectations about bodies, performance, and what intimacy should look like. Practically, moderation is absolutely key. Adult content is entertainment, not education. Healthy intimacy requires genuine communication, patience, and authentic presence, not performance mimicry. 5. Wearing special attire. This one might surprise you. About 75% of women and even 26% of men admit they've chosen special lingerie or intimate apparel for a partner. Why? Because anticipation is genuinely powerful. Biologically, when you see your partner making special effort, your brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical that heightens pleasure. Emotionally, it communicates, "You're worth this effort, you're important to me." Practically, it's such a simple way to inject novelty and renewed excitement into long-term relationships without major effort. 6. Intimate digital messaging. This is where things get potentially risky. 65% of men and 54% of women admit to sending or receiving intimate photos or messages. Biologically, it taps into anticipation and mental arousal, which are powerful components of desire. Emotionally, it can feel thrilling, private, and deeply intimate. Practically, it carries significant risk. Devices get compromised, relationships end, and images can resurface years later with serious consequences. If you engage, protect yourself. Avoid identifying features. Only share with someone you deeply trust. And remember, you lose control the moment you send. 7. Reading romantic or erotic literature. More than 57% of Americans have done this, with women leaning more toward written content, while men tend to prefer visual media. Biologically, arousal isn't purely visual, it's deeply mental and imaginative. Emotionally, it allows for safe exploration of curiosity and fantasy without physical risk. Practically, this can be an excellent couples activity. Reading together, sharing what interests you, and using that as inspiration for genuine intimacy. 8. Intimate activity in semi-public settings. Now we're entering surprising territory. About 43% of people admit to having intimate moments in semi-public places at least once. Biologically, the adrenaline rush from perceived risk genuinely heightens arousal responses. Emotionally, it's the thrill of doing something slightly forbidden or adventurous. Practically, it's illegal in most jurisdictions, and being caught can have serious, long-lasting legal consequences, including registration requirements. So carefully weigh the genuine risks before considering this. 9. Alternative forms of intimacy. Yes, this is far more common than most people realize. 43% of men and 30% of women report engaging in alternative forms of intimate activity. Biologically, these areas contain numerous nerve endings. For men, certain activities can stimulate the prostate. For women, proximity to other sensitive areas creates sensation. Emotionally, it can carry social stigma, but for many couples, it's an expression of deep trust and mutual exploration. Practically, this requires careful preparation, generous lubrication, extremely slow pacing, and constant communication to prevent injury or discomfort. Never rush this type of intimacy. 10. Playful physical contact. Here's the genuine shocker. About 30% of Americans admit to incorporating light spanking or playful physical contact during intimate moments. Biologically, mild sensory intensity and pleasure both activate similar brain pathways, releasing endorphins that heighten overall arousal. Emotionally, it can range from playful to deeply intimate, depending entirely on the couple's dynamic and comfort level. Practically, it's safe as long as it's completely consensual. Always agree on boundaries, establish clear communication signals, and respect comfort levels absolutely. So what should you take away from all this information? 1. Communicate openly with your partner. Curiosity and honest conversation build genuine trust and deeper connection. 2. Prioritize safety always. Whether it's protection from infections, digital caution, or physical preparation, respect your long-term health. 3. Explore gradually and thoughtfully. Novelty can be exciting, but it's most rewarding when approached with patience, care, and mutual consent. I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing weird or wrong about you. If you've tried some of these activities, completely normal. If you've never tried them, also completely normal. If you're curious but hesitant, that's perfectly okay. 2. Your sexuality is valid, and your interests are part of being human. There's tremendous diversity in what people find pleasurable and meaningful. Age doesn't mean closing the door on passion, intimacy, or exploration. In fact, some of the most fulfilled couples I see in my practice are those who maintain curiosity, whether through special attire, shared reading, or simply deeper emotional connection. So here's my challenge to you. Have a conversation with your partner tonight. Ask what excites or interests them. Share what interests you. And remember, it's not about checking off everything on this list. It's about creating intimacy that makes you both feel genuinely alive and connected. If you found this video eye-opening or reassuring, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might appreciate knowing they're not alone in their curiosities. I'm Dr. Lily Morgan, reminding you, your age does not define your vitality or capacity for intimacy. Small changes and open communication can spark significant transformations in your health, your confidence, and your relationships. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.